Welcome back to Excel, a mental evolution podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Seth Rose, and today is episode 7. And we're going to be talking about what's called resonance frequency breathing, or RFB for short. Now, resonance frequency breathing is a way of breathing, typically slow, low, relaxed, diaphragmatic belly breathing at around 4 to 7 breaths per minute. And it has a tremendous effect on regulating our autonomic nervous system and other key body systems such as our circulatory system and our respiration system. Typically things that are happening automatically in the body. Now, this type of breathing, when you practice it for a certain period of time, will calm the body's fight or flight response, typically known as the sympathetic nervous system or our body's gas, and increases the activity of the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve. Now, calming down the fight or flight response and activating the vagus nerve is very important for us to help with coping with certain stressors, regulating our emotions, helping us with recovery, maybe when we're coming back from an injury, controlling some of our thoughts, and also ultimately regulating those things to then help with enhancing performance. So when you are breathing at your RFB, basically your respiration, your cardiovascular system, and your autonomic nervous system, simply put, like your brain to your heart, all of these things working together in a synchronous manner can help with higher levels of functioning and better health and well-being outcomes on the back end. Now, resonance frequency breathing is an individualized pacing that everybody has their own individual pace. Now, without all the fancy equipment to measure those sort of things, the average that we see general populations having is about 6 breaths per minute. And what that equates to is about a 10 breath cycle. And we typically want to breathe at a 40 to 60% inhale to exhale ratio. So what that looks like is you would inhale for 4 seconds and exhale for 6 seconds. So what we're going to do today is we're going to practice about 5 to 10 breath cycles of breathing at this pace at a low, slow, diaphragmatic breathing pace. So what I want you to do is find an upright position. You can put your hands wherever you'd like and just focus in on your breathing, low and slow, and begin by focusing on pacing and counting the breath. 4 seconds on the inhale and 6 seconds on the exhale. Again, 4 seconds on the inhale, nice and low and slow, and 6 seconds on the exhale, slowly pacing that breath out. A couple more times on your own. Good. Now, if that was difficult for you, what you can do is keeping the 40-60 ratio with your breath, you would just dial that back a little bit. So instead of a 4 inhale, 6 exhale, maybe you would do a 3 inhale, 5 exhale. Same premise, low and slow, diaphragmatic breathing. We want to avoid big, deep breaths in. We get a lot of chest breathing when we do that. We want these breaths to be low and slow through the belly. Also times what happens with those big, deep breaths is we tend to take in too much air, and that can cause things like hyperventilation and kind of maybe exacerbate some worrying thoughts or anxious thoughts that you might have. And really, at the end of the day, resonance frequency breathing, when it comes to regulating the nervous system, it's all about the body's ability to maintain stability under changing conditions. How you can gain control of your regulatory system, your thoughts, emotions, and your physiology, so that way then you have full control over what you're going to be doing action-wise for your skills, for your technique, for your tactics. And this is all to enhance the probability of a better performance on the back end. And that's RFB. Give it a whirl. I always recommend starting about 5 minutes of this 3 to 4 times a week. Ideally, you want to work up to about 12 minutes a day. So give it a try and play around with the pacing. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks, and we'll see you again next time.